Here's some tips and things for you to consider about working bottom turns on a surf skate. I'm Chris Mills with surfstrengthcoach.com. Going to give you some things that I consider and have heard from other coaches and have applied to my own surfing and playing around on a surf skate when kind of working on bottom turns, and just some things for you to think about next time you're out there skating around of how to position your body and how moving the body ultimately influences the surfboard and engaging a rail. The comments are going to blow up asking, Carver skateboard, these are C7 trucks, this is my preference. Another good price option, this deck ain't it, but the waterborne truck adapters, they're legit. You're gonna see me on this because it's gonna be a little sketchy just because of the deck, but it's a good price point. If you can't get a Carver, do some waterborne truck adapters. So bottom turns. Again, this is my interpretation of working with various surf coaches and surf coaching trips and checking out other people's blogs. This is what worked for me and made sense with my surfing, so maybe it'll make sense for you. What we're doing with the bottom turn is just trying to engage the surfboard and the rail to interact with the water. It's not about pushing hard and shoving, it's about altering our center of gravity over. If I'm doing a front side bottom turn and you look at the pros, it's like this hip hinge, this look at the lip, this reach, but I think most effectively it's this reach, because if I'm reaching, I can feel all my weight coming onto my toe side rail. And if I'm starting to engage that rail, and you got the rocker, the surfboard, and the physics and nerding out on surfboards, that's engaging and coming up the wave face, then being drawn up. So it's not, in my opinion, so much about shoving and pushing, like Clayton Nienaber says, right? It's about that lean on that bottom turn. And so that you're just engaging the rail. So how can we start doing that on a surf skate, right? It's not heavy pushing, it's figuring out how can I alter my center of gravity and then start reaching, and then we start feeling the rail engage. Now on flat ground, right, it's just kind of looking this direction. But if we want to start surfing vertically, we need to start looking up, and we can start playing around in the ramp, but let's start getting used to some positions of reaching, some looking, and feeling how engaging our center of gravity onto that toe side rail, things start to move. So if you look at photos of the legends, right, Fanning, Curran, Parko, it's always this kind of hip hinge. They're always this back knee cocked, but it's not thinking, oh, I'm gonna bottom turn, I'm gonna cock this back knee. That back knee is already cocked from this kind of front on surfing position. So from here, it's this hip hinge. But again, it comes down to that reach. This arm needs to kind of get out of the way. Don't cross it here. So I'm going to be reaching and trying to spin around that cone and feeling how this reaching is just changing my gravity on that board. So, and I'm just going to keep playing that to find, it's if I'm dropping in, that's the bottom turn, and my gaze looks up at that lip, right? And so if I wanted to then start using vert, we could start going in that direction. But I think it's largely getting used to reaching and feeling how it's just putting pressure onto that toe side rail. Because again, we're talking about front side eyes, bottom turn. Woo! So I'm going to do a couple reps on this squirrely one, but it's the same. I'm going to go a little slower, reach, and that one was more, I was kind of squatty. On this one, it's kind of a really small, narrow board, so I'm just going to reach and up. I can feel I'm pretty back heavy on that one, back foot heavy. And so you can see I'm going more squatty on this one just because it's a really inefficient, again, good trucks, wrong deck. I'm a lot more comfortable on the Carver because I skate it mostly. Reach around that cone, and then I think it's largely about starting to look to what you want to project to. So as soon as I'm bottom turning, I'm already looking up there to then start hitting a front side top turn. So a little slower, This first rep, I'm just getting used to that lean, feeling how it puts me on the rail. As you start to work on that, you start to always be looking a couple steps ahead. So as I'm going into that bottom turn, I'm already looking up at where I want to go. And it's just starting with surf skating, it's letting you feel patterns. This might not be the perfect bottom turn, but it's giving me a chance to start feeling different positions and which one starts to actually feel the best, and then film yourself. Which one looks the best? And again, you're on flat ground, so we're dealing with runaway skateboard. We're dealing with different physics on flat ground versus if we started bottom turning and skating and hitting different angles. And then so I'm working on a bottom turn, feeling how leaning puts me on rail into a twisting front side turn. So again, this isn't the sickest surf skate tutorial ever, but it's giving you some things to think about, how altering body position is ultimately influencing the skateboard or the rail. So what are we doing with that bottom turn? It's not this heavy push. If I'm with skating, right? When do you drop into a skate bowl and do a heavy push? It's all about getting the skateboard just to interact with gravity. And just pumping. So you go, some things to think about, how just altering your positioning can influence a rail. That's what surf skating is good for. Set your camera up, your phone, selfie it, look at it, feel it, review it. Surf skate, it's an opportunity for us, like practicing our golf swing, get your reps in kind of thing, you know? So be safe, watch some pros, see their movement, check their positions, and then start feeling that on a skateboard over and over and over, and feel how it engages. If you dig it, check out my app, the Surf Athlete app, surf skate programs, surf fitness programs. It's legit. Be safe on your surf skate. It's fun. I haven't broken anything yet, so I reckon that's a good day. I'm calling it. Done. Peace.